Francisco too. Everywhere there's music, real life music, bands with a million styles, but it's still that same old rock and roll.
I love Huey Lewis.
Really, really drives them wild. They say the harder rock and roll is to be.
Ooh.
From what I've seen, I believe them. Now the other may be there to breathe them.
Ooh. Oh, boy. Yes. I beat Vegas.
WBUZ HD4 Laverne, WPRT HD4 Pegram, 93.3 FM. Totally hits, totally Nashville.
We're talking Blue Raider football, live from the Boulevard Bar and Grill. It's Derek Mason Live. 1 hour of football conversation featuring the head coach of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Be part of the show by dropping us your questions or comments to BlueRaiderNet@gmail.com. Tonight's show is presented by Ascend Federal Credit Union, the exclusive credit union of Blue Raider Athletics. Bud Light, it's for the fans. Now, with Coach Derek Mason, here's the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters.
Clear.
Welcome in to the Boulevard on this Monday night. A little dreary, rainy Monday night here in Murfreesboro, but we're going to have fun for the next hour. Coach Derek Mason is here, and we are live just across from campus at the Boulevard Bar and Grill, our favorite sports bar and grill here in Murfreesboro. They've got great lunch specials. It'll be a perfect place to do a little pre-gaming on Wednesday prior to the Blue Raider matchup with Jacksonville State. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Just coming off of
living the dream.
Yeah, been living the dream. Just coming off of some prep work for Jack State. Really good football team, and just looking at where we are, a couple of days away from get ready to kick this thing off. But we're in the month of October, right?
We are.
Right.
We're nearing the end of October.
Right. So, I talked about it earlier, but today. In my press conference is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And with that being said.
Had that on my list to talk to you about tonight.
Yeah. We've, myself, Coach Lowry, have both been worn pink laces, in honor of what's going on and what's happening this month. I know we got Halloween coming up. So there's a lot of things in the month of October that are being celebrated. But I'm excited to head into a Wednesday night versus a good Jack State team. Excited about this game, an opportunity for us to play a conference game. And these midweek games are pretty exciting for folks in college football.
Yeah, the one of those things that, we're kind of in the middle of it because we're all right here. But, the word we get from conference office, other places like, that have all that information is, when you're these midweek games that are, it's Conference USA basically has the night for themselves on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. And this week the schedule's a little bit different, but the viewership numbers across the country for a midweek Conference USA game are literally 3 to 4 times what viewership might be if that game was part of the mix on a Saturday. And it's a great opportunity to put yourself out there.
It is a great opportunity to put yourself out there. I think, when you look at how saturated games are on Saturdays, people during college football season are looking for good football to watch. These games have been close. They're all tight. And they've been close to one-possession ball games, all the way around. And so as you talk about it, it's viewed, it's watched. And people like good football, and so again, man, we get one this Wednesday, so let's go.
It's been interesting. If you follow social media and in particular Twitter, you have a lot of the national football writers, pundits, things like that. they've been very complimentary of what they've seen. You know, they said, is there a more fun league to watch this year than Conference USA? Because of like what you said, this past weekend, I think the largest spread was 7 points out of the 4 games that were played. You had a 1-point game in overtime. You had a 3-point game. You had a 4-point game and a 7-point game. So everything came down to the end on all 4 games that were played last week.
Right, and these games are in the margins, right? And, you know, it comes down to, you know, execution, you know, value of red zone opportunities, turnovers, points, penalties. All these things, man, are sort of, you know, making these games as close and as tight. And when you start to look at, you know, like the scope of it, I mean, it makes it extremely competitive as people are looking to try to gap wins or get wins in this conference.
Speaking of competitive, certainly was last Wednesday up in Newark, Delaware, against the Blue Hens. First time these two teams had met since 1978, and in a stretch where back then where Delaware was really good in Division II, won 6 national championships. They've got a good team this year. They've got a quarterback, Nick Minicucci. They've got a good running back and a defense that plays pretty well. And this game, you know, took a couple of turns throughout. I think there were 4 lead changes in the ball game. Right. But talk about your preparation for Delaware and then on the flip side, what you got after that preparation.
Well, we knew going in, and having watched Delaware, they had balance to what they do in terms of the quarterback position. Minicucci had been playing well. He had put up passing numbers. They had been able to spread the ball around. Defensively, they were doing a solid job of getting stops and getting people off the field. And it was going to be a game for us where we needed to, you know, score early, okay, which we did. We had a good first quarter, you know, and put up points. Put up 14 points, as a matter of fact, scored on the first 2 of 3 drives. And in that ball game, man, you felt sort of the swing and the ebb and flow of what ball games become. For us in the second quarter, we had three straight possessions with no points. And, you know, when you look at it, you've got to be able to score. You got to be able to minimize opportunities for gaps in scoring. Like we did not. We had a chance right before the half, you know, like to get points. Did not. And you go in, you know, looking at that game, and you go in 24-14, down by 10, understanding exactly what you needed to do in the second half. So, like for us, started the way we wanted to, lulled in the second quarter, and for us, you know, we've got to continue to apply pressure.
Yeah, in that first half and that you mentioned, like you said, Middle scores on 2 of its first 3 possessions. Your first touchdown drive, you know, really pretty drive. 12 plays, 76 yards. Nick Vattiato hits Najee Cox on a 5-yard pass, tied the game at 7. After a fumble recovery by Abdul Muhammad, you had the ball at the plus 17 and immediately got the ball down to the 4, and then Jaquel Middlebrook took it in. So you swung the momentum around, but you know they come right back. You know their first 4 scores were 10 plays, 11 plays, 11 plays, and 10 plays. It was one of those where at any point, if you could have gotten them off the field, it kind of would have broken serve a little bit.
Correct.
In the momentum that they had.
Correct, and that's what this game is. You've got to find ways to get off the field on third down, right? And I thought we had plenty of opportunities in those series, okay, of getting off the field. You know, Minicucci made some good throws, and like they were able to extend drives with possessions. And with that being said, you know, you see it stretch a little bit. But again, we went in at halftime. We understood what we needed to do. We've made good second half adjustments, you know, in these last 3 ball games where you've been able to see, you know, like the defense sort of hold up and give our offense opportunities on ball to score points. And you gotta score when you can score. You gotta take care of the football, you know, so to speak. And what you see in the second half is we stop Delaware's first drive. We come back, like we're able to, put points on the board, like in that drive. And then all of a sudden, man, we get another stop and you have an opportunity. And with that opportunity to go down and score, we turn it over. Mm-hmm. And that just felt like a huge momentum shift in this ball game, right? Because at worst, you're looking at 3 points, but instead it winds up being, a swing of points because off of that turnover, okay, man, we have a chance defensively to get a stop. Okay, man, get them off the field. It's 3rd and 10, okay? Yep. And instead we wind up with a penalty, an unforced error, and that penalty extends the drive, which leads to points. And anytime, and I've been coaching football a long time, and it's got to be in the high percentage range, anywhere from 85 to 90%. Anytime that you can extend a drive, okay, with your own penalty, okay, man, points are generally on the other side of that, right? And that's, when you look at this ball game, it really comes down to that. It comes down to, that was a huge factor in this ball game.
And it comes down to a handful of plays a lot of times.
It does.
And that was one that was a handful in its own.
It was. It was a handful in its own because when you look at it, itself, that's a drive where you're off the field, but instead it winds up being 7 points, and that's the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, we'll kind of talk about how things went down the stretch as Middle Tennessee faced Delaware last week up in Newark, Delaware. Blue Raider fans, get ahead of the game with the best home and facility services team in town for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical and home improvement needs. Lee Company's the team to call, 615-867-1000 or online at leecompany.com. Coach Derek Mason with us tonight at the Boulevard. Back after this on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
Hey fans, MTSU head coach Derek Mason here. Ascend Federal Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Blue Raider Athletics, and they have a checking account that will help you grow your money smarter than ever before.
A high-yield checking account from Ascend earns an annual percentage yield of 3.56%. Plus, you can show off your Blue Raider spirit with an MTSU-branded debit card. Visit ascend.org to open your account today. Some restrictions apply. Rates are subject to change at any time.
MTSU's College of Education prepares teachers, leaders, counselors, and librarians to be difference makers in schools and communities. Faculty and staff are committed to helping students be the best professionals they can be so they can engage in the very important work of supporting children, families, and adults in Tennessee and beyond. Offering an array of bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs, MTSU's College of Education has a program that's right for you as you strive to become a difference maker in your community.
Roscoe Brown's proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company. For over 85 years, Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance are the leading experts in sports medicine and performance, and the team physicians for NFL, college, and high school athletes across Tennessee. TOA offers same-day appointments, walk-ins, and urgent care for acute orthopedic injuries that can't wait. TOA is proud to be the team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics. Having a specialized care team you trust can make all the difference in your athletic journey. To find a TOA location near you, visit TOA.com.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 155,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing, update your information, and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
93.3 FM. Totally hits. Totally Nashville.
Clear.
Welcome back into the Boulevard here tonight from Murfreesboro on a little rainy night. Wednesday night, 6:30 will be our kickoff time for Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. Now, I will have to say a little shout out to one of my favorite Jacksonville State graduates who is in the building tonight. Jeff Davis is back there, and as a matter of fact, talking with our director of athletics, he is for Middle Tennessee 11 out of 12 weeks out of the year in football, but his alma mater's coming to town this week, and he's going to handle it all right, and we'll still be friends when it's over with. But want to wish Jeff the best of luck in the other 11 weeks of the year. Not wishing you any luck this week, Jeff. So there you go. You know Jeff? There you are.
Okay, I've seen Jeff. So
yep.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
So we talk a little bit about. We'll kind of wrap up a little bit of the Delaware game. And one question I want to ask you about. We mentioned the penalty on the punt play. How do you you're in the teaching mode a lot as a head coach, and your assistant coaches are the same way. How do you deal with a young man to go through the teaching process after when there's a kind of a catastrophic penalty that changes the momentum of a game?
Yeah, those moments are, man, you want to understand exactly, what's behind it. And football is a game, man, that happens between the white lines, and it happens snap to whistle. Anything that happens outside the whistle, it has nothing to do with the game. It really does. It has everything to do with emotions. And I get it. Okay, I mean, football is a game that has emotions tied to it. Okay, but you got to watch this over emotional indulgence of being too high or too low. We talk to guys all the time about staying in the middle, because the best parts of what you do aren't up here or aren't down here. I mean, it's in the middle. And again, 18 to 22-year-olds sometimes find themselves, trying to explain it away. But again, football is a game that's being played snap to whistle. So everything beyond that has no place in the game.
I thought you had a really good description earlier today when you said, be the same player on game day that you are on every day at practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep it level all the way through.
Yeah, like keep it level all the way through. And here's the deal, right? There's guys. I've been around guys like Richard Sherman. Okay, was an emotional player.
Yes.
Okay, man, he was always that way. But here's the thing. That showed up every day in practice. The talking showed up every day in practice. So what he learned how to do was walk up to the line, turn around, and come right back. And I think that's what guys don't quite understand about the game. Okay, man, if you're going to be that all the time so you can learn how to play with that emotional agility that doesn't take away from you or your team. Okay, when it takes away from you and your team or hurts you and your team, then it's this distraction that becomes overwhelming, because now, okay, you're at this point where nobody can really talk you down. And again, saw Mr. Muhammad go back in the game, and again, he was still rattled. And that's something, for him, hey, he looks back at it, and it's a lesson learned, but it's a hard lesson to learn when it's that costly, because it doesn't just cost you, it costs everybody.
Right.
It costs everybody.
Yep, understand that. And but the game went on.
It did.
It still continued.
Yep.
And a couple of guys I want to single out a little bit, because we've seen them really become a bigger part of the offense over the last few weeks. One is tight end Hunter Tipton. He's had 12 catches in the last 2 weeks, and being able to add the tight end as a weapon on your offensive side, it makes you much more diverse. Not only can he block, not only can Evan Potiker block, but Tipton has really put himself out there, caught a touchdown pass at Delaware, and become a bigger part of the offense. And do you see that expanding even more?
We do, right? When you look at the last, 4 weeks, even in the Marshall game, you start to see, bits and pieces of, okay, the ball being dispersed, okay, and weapons starting to show up. That's starting to become part of, what we're doing week to week, okay? We scored 28 points in this game, should have scored 42, right? There were opportunities for us to go get points. We have to capitalize on those. We were 4 or 5 in the red zone, okay? Should have been 5 of 5, like, in the red zone. And guys like Hunter Tipton, okay, are starting to become familiar targets for Nick Vattiato. So now Nick's starting to get his full gambit of guys around him making plays. Now, still got to cut down on some drops. We had a couple of missed assignments, but what you're starting to see are guys like him and Cam Lacey and Miles Butler, along with
the other name I was going to bring up, A.J. Jones.
A.J. Jones. So. Then you look at what's happening, with D.J. Taylor. He's starting to complement, exactly what you're getting from Jaquil Middlebrook, in his relief of Jaquil when he's playing. So you're starting to see some of the depth. You're starting to see the weapons start to show up. Now what we need is more explosive plays, right? Because guys are getting their touches, but it's the shots down the field, okay? We had, an opportunity to Cam Lacey, had an opportunity to Najee Cox, right? Like, we have to hit on those plays because those plays start to stretch it out and put more pressure on these defenses that we're facing.
Yeah, Delaware wins it by a score of 31-28, and they moved to 4-3 at the time on the year. As we move into going to get to the midway point of the conference season this week as midweek CUSA comes to a close. We're going to step aside, talk more with Coach Derek Mason. We'll have a special guest tonight. It's going to be Director of Athletics Chris Massaro, but we're going to talk all about his role in the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, which is pretty interesting and a great honor for MTSU. We'll do all that and more as we continue from the Boulevard on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lee Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lee Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leecompany.com or call 615-867-1000.
I'm on Dead Man's Bend at midnight when my gas light pops on. I see a gas station ahead. Just my luck. Or is it? I walk in. The attendant lifts a bony finger towards me and croaks, "You want a Halloween jumbo bucks?" I whisper it terrified, "No." And as I leave, he asks the lady behind me. She says, "Okay." And then...
She wants $75,000!
Scare up some cash with the Halloween Jumbo Bucks instant game. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing, hair-raising fun. Please play responsibly.
Hey fans, MTSU head coach Derek Mason here. Ascend Federal Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Blue Raider Athletics, and they have a checking account that will help you grow your money smarter than ever before.
A high-yield checking account from Ascend earns an annual percentage yield of 3.56%. Plus, you can show off your Blue Raider spirit with an MTSU-branded debit card. Visit ascend.org to open your account today. Some restrictions apply. Rates are subject to change at any time.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lee Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lee Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leecompany.com or call 615-867-1000.
I'm on Dead Man's Bend at midnight when my gas light pops on. I see a gas station ahead. Just my luck. Or is it? I walk in, the attendant lifts a bony finger towards me and croaks, "You want a Halloween jumbo bucks?" I whisper it terrified, "No." And as I leave, he asks the lady behind me. She says, "Okay," and then...
She won $75,000!
Scare up some cash with the Halloween Jumbo Bucks instant game, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing, hair-raising fun. Please play responsibly.
93.3 FM. Totally hits. Totally Nashville.
Clear.
Welcome back into the Boulevard here, corner of Middle Tennessee and East Main in historic downtown Murfreesboro. With nearly 200 majors and concentrations for undergrads and more than 100 graduate programs, Middle Tennessee State University has something for everyone, including more than 50 online degrees. You want high-quality, affordable education? Well, it's not too late to apply. Learn more at mtsu.edu/how to apply. As we look ahead this week in Conference USA, the Blue Raiders, of course, on Wednesday night will be here in Murfreesboro, and that will be a 6:30 start. We've got women's basketball tomorrow night at 6:30 as the Blue Raiders, the Lady Raiders, will take on Life College out of Atlanta, Georgia, and that will be a final exhibition before they open up next Monday against Tennessee State. The Blue Raider men will be on the road tomorrow night in Clarksville for an exhibition game with the Austin Peay Governors. Both men's and women's basketball teams will open up for real next week. The women will open up next Monday against TSU. That'll be a 10:30 a.m. game with a full house of elementary school kids from Murfreesboro City Schools. The Blue Raider men will open up on Wednesday against Milligan College of East Tennessee, and they will have their opening game, and that will be with a full house of elementary school kids from Rutherford County schools. Again, that's a look at the schedule of what's going on this week. We'll step aside, and when we come back, Chris Massaro will join me, and we'll talk about the college football playoff. That's right here on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
MTSU head coach Derek Mason here. Ascend Federal Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Blue Raider Athletics, and they have a checking account that will help you grow your money smarter than ever before.
A high-yield checking account from Ascend earns an annual percentage yield of 3.56%. Plus, you can show off your Blue Raider spirit with an MTSU-branded debit card. Visit ascend.org to open your account today. Some restrictions apply. Rates are subject to change at any time.
MTSU's College of Education prepares teachers, leaders, counselors, and librarians to be difference makers in schools and communities. Faculty and staff are committed to helping students be the best professionals they can be so they can engage in the very important work of supporting children, families, and adults in Tennessee and beyond. Offering an array of bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs, MTSU's College of Education has a program that's right for you as you strive to become a difference maker in your community.
Roscoe Brown's proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company. For over 85 years, Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance are the leading experts in sports medicine and performance, and the team physicians for NFL, college, and high school athletes across Tennessee. TOA offers same-day appointments, walk-ins, and urgent care for acute orthopedic injuries that can't wait. TOA is proud to be the team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics. Having a specialized care team you trust can make all the difference in your athletic journey. To find a TOA location near you, visit TOA.com.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 155,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing, update your information, and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
93.3 FM. Totally hits. Totally Nashville.
Clear.
Welcome back into the Boulevard. We're here on this Monday night, and it's Monday nights from now through the end of the season as we work our way through. Of course, the Blue Raiders hosting Jacksonville State on Wednesday night. Happy to have Director of Athletics Chris Massaro, but we're going to take off his AD hat and put on the hat of a member of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee representing Conference USA. And Chris, first of all, thanks for coming on. And secondly, that's really quite an honor to be selected for that.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, and it's a committee I've wanted to be on my entire career, and so to be named and be part of that process is really an honor, and it's been great so far, Chip. We've met once in the spring in Chicago, kind of get to know the other committee members kind of thing, and then we met in Colorado Springs in August, and then we just had a pretty good meeting last week in Dallas, and so now starting this weekend we'll meet weekly till the selections come out.
So this was our one shot to get you
because I won't be here on Monday.
You won't be here on Mondays for the rest of the season, and the first CFP poll will come out, next Monday?
I think next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday it'll come out. But talk about the makeup of the committee and the diversity of it. So a few names, but how they go about putting the group together.
Yeah, and it's what I like about it is, it was formed, and it's a lot different than like maybe the men's basketball committee. The men's basketball committee is made up of really entirely of athletic directors and commissioners. And I think when they started forming the CFP, they wanted to get away from that a little bit and get more points of view. So there's athletic directors that are on this committee. There's also two former collegiate football players that had star-studded NFL careers that are on this committee. There's, I think, 3 ex-coaches that are on this committee. So there's 13 of us in total, and one guy now has some health issues, so actively there will be 12 of us on the committee, and one media member is on the committee. So we all look at games a little differently and take those collective viewpoints and try to come up with the best field of 12.
Yep. One of the things that is the same as the basketball selection committee is if your school comes up, you've got to leave the room, and you certainly you've made mention numerous times, I want to be at a point where I'm kicked out of the room.
Yeah, I do, and that's a goal. Obviously, that won't happen this year, but that's the goal is to be that person that has to leave. And actually, we've got a person from an AD from Virginia and obviously Virginia's having the kind of season. So when we talk about Virginia, she'll have to leave the room and those kind of things. So it's kind of interesting how they do the balloting, that you come in and you're supposed to have each committee member is supposed to have their top 30 teams, and they want them in rank order. So that's kind of your homework on Sunday, is to do all of that and then alphabetize them, because what they'll do is you punch them into the computer, and then whatever school gets 3 or more votes stays on the board, and then you start narrowing it down, and then you vote for your top 6 out of that, whatever. There might be 37 or 38 teams on the board, and then you vote for your top 6, and then they start culling that down by vote. So you never really know what the guy next to you, who he's voting for. It's all electronic, you know, and those kind of things. And we kind of did a mock exercise last week, and then there's pausing points where, you know, if the 6 teams are on the board, and then you can do all these comparative statistics that they can put on the board, and so you see each team's sheets and stats that they say drive winning, like relative offense is the #1 stat predictor of wins, and relative offense is how your offense does against a team. So if a team's giving up 20 points a game and you score 28, your relative offense is +8 for that. If they're giving up 20 and you score 12, you know, it's a -8.
Even if you had won 12-10, but your relative defense is probably going to be on the plus side.
Yeah. And so the offensive stats, according to 15 or 20 years worth of data, are more relevant than the defensive stats of the equivalent. So your relative defense might be the number 3 or 4 indicator. So it's been interesting seeing kind of the statistical breakdown of all the teams, and then they give you a computer program, so I have access to all the game tapes, so I can see the end zone views, I can see the high views, the ones that get on the CFP hot list that they send. I can see edited down TV copies of it.
Yeah.
So I try to watch as many games as I can live, because I think that I need to see the flow of the game to see how people react in adverse situations and those kind of things to help make judgments. But that's what our job is right now, is to watch as many games as we can.
Now, each member has a certain area of the country or conference, a conference or two that you are in. I don't know if you're in charge of. What would you say? You're kind of the lead?
Yeah, you're just the lead information guy. So there's a primary and secondary on both, and so I'm the secondary guy on the Mountain West Conference. So, you know, I mean, you look, and so you try to watch as many Mountain West games as you can.
They're hard to find.
And you got to stay up late. You know, that's the other thing. Like Cindy will go to bed, and I'm watching Hawaii play, and that kind of thing. But so we have our first conference call with them next week, and so their responsibility is really to give us information that we might not know by watching the games. Was this linebacker out? Is that if you had 2 injuries in the offensive line on this team, what does the conference think their best teams are? So I've got Mountain West, and then I'm the primary guy for independents, and there's 2 independents, so it's Notre Dame and UConn, so watched a lot of their games, and I'll have the same kind of conference calls with them. Obviously, it's a little bit different because it's just with each individual school.
Yeah, and in the way that this year is falling, Notre Dame, that conversation is going to go deep into the year probably not necessarily for UConn. But have you found here in the early going that what you're getting statistically, is it matching up with your eye test and what your gut's telling you, or is there a different story being told?
Yeah, and it's hard to quantify sometimes, because I'm a big head-to-head guy. I think that, you know, when you prove it on the field, that means a lot. So, you know, and you watch the games and you form opinions. You try to keep the brands out of your own conversation, you know, and those kind of things. So, you know, we're only 7 games, 8 games into the season for most teams. So there's still a lot of big games to be played, and so some of it's a little premature, you know, and so like the Vanderbilt-Missouri game was a big game last week, you know, and so there'll be another big game this week, kind of as these teams keep going. So you just have to form some early opinions, but yet you have to be open enough to the new results that happen every week. And so what I'm a little bit one of the advantages of playing on Wednesday nights is I've had all day Saturday to watch games from 11 to midnight.
You've got like 5 weeks in there where you could do that.
Yeah, part's been really good. When we go to Saturday games, it's going to be a little bit more compressed. What the other committee members say is that they download a bunch of the games so they're able to watch them on the airplane. And then when you get to your hotel Sunday night, that's when you do all your evaluations and your stats. And then Monday morning when you meet at 8 o'clock, you come in with your list. And I want to make sure when I do that the stats kind of match, that I'm pretty firm in everything. And when you start getting into 16 and 17 and 18, there's not a whole lot of difference between some of those teams. And so how do I justify this pick over that pick? And so I'm going to make sure I'm going to do my homework. And I've told the committee, like, you can always count on me to be well prepared for all the meetings, because I firmly believe what we're doing is really important to a lot of people, and I don't want to shortchange the process at all.
As you mentioned, there's a lot of big head-to-head games in conferences going down the stretch. You look back in September, and you have some, Georgia, Clemson, or, some of those, Power 4 against Power 4 non-conference games. How much weight do you put on those to form your early opinions?
Yeah, and I think quite a bit. I mean, intra-conference helps you judge kind of the conferences, and is this conference better than that conference, and those kind of things. And so it gives you a little bit of a baseline of comparisons. But, I'm a big believer that all 12 games count, whether it's played in September or it's played in November, and those kind of things. So, I just think it's all part of the recipe, and everybody, as I said, that everybody looks at these games a little bit differently. Like a coach will look at it a little differently than an AD, and the media member might look at it a little differently than the rest of us, and the 2 former players might really look at the games differently. And so that's when you have the as I understand it, really good discussion. Now, we haven't had those meetings yet, so I'm just speculating. But I think that's it. And then part of our job, and they keep saying, is just our goal is just to get it right. It doesn't matter who gets in, just as long as we get it right. We need to give everything the honest. It's too important to too many people to shortchange it, so we've got to get it right. And then the discussion that we have in that room helps prepare the chair, because he's got to go on ESPN on Tuesday night and answer some of those hard questions that we might be talking about in the committee. That's been a source of debate in the committee room too. So I think that's part of the job, is to prepare the chair, who's Mac Rhodes from Baylor, for his media presentations when we announce the top 25.
So in our area, in the group of 5 area, is one of the things that's, everybody has a little bit of, they want to get it right, but everybody has their own little piece of their own agenda that they want to make sure gets correct. Do you feel like that the group of 5 or group of 6 now, however you want to call it, is going to get their fair shake?
Yeah, I think so. I trust the committee, and I think they always have. I think that, when you look at it, there's some really good teams in the group of 5 this year. And so, they're good. And they've proven it in their non-conference and those kind of things. And there's still some big games to be played inside the group of 5. So yeah, for those of the listeners that don't know, that you have the best group of 5 champion, and it's the champion, has an automatic spot. So if Team A is considered the best team and they get beat in their championship game, then they won't get that automatic slot. They might get in an at-large slot.
Yeah,
but it's the champion.
So their group of 5 teams are not excluded from getting an at-large spot.
No, and they're not. And what I really like, Chip, is this is the first time in 30 years, maybe, and it might even be my whole lifetime, that schools like ours have a chance to compete in the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, in the BCS, when there was only 2 and it was computer rankings, schools had no chance. You look back on those Boise teams. I was watching Boise and Nevada the other night, and they made a statement. I think there was like 30-some players that played in like the 2012 team that made it into the NFL. Now it was Colin Kaepernick was with Nevada, and Kellen Moore was with Boise, and Doug Martin. And, I mean, there were some great players out there. And you think of those 2 teams maybe had a chance in this modern day, but back then they couldn't get in. So we'll never know.
Yeah.
Now those kind of teams have a chance. And to me, that's the important thing is schools like us, we have that at-bat. You know, and in basketball, we took advantage of it, man. We were a 15 seed, and we beat Michigan State. No doubt about it. We went out and beat them. And why can't the same thing happen in football? And that's what I like about this new setup is everybody's got a chance, you know. And so if we prove ourselves worthy to be the best group of 5 team, then we've got a chance to get in and win a game and advance and then try to win the next game and so on. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and so I'm excited about that. I think that's one of the great things about this new format is that Group of 5 has entry into the playoff.
And I'm not even going to ask you now, since you haven't even had your first official meeting yet, I'm not even going to ask you about expanding the playoffs or anything like that. Well,
that's very clear, Chip, that's not our decision. That's the commissioners
that's
decide
right.
that. So yeah, that they make it very clear what your responsibility is and
what theirs are.
Yeah.
And what stays on their table.
Yeah.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, there's no question you'll be the most prepared guy in the room going into this committee meeting next week for the first one. And we'll know when those rankings come out on Tuesday nights that somebody we know had a piece of that. So we want to wish you all the best of luck. And clear eyes, clear head, go in, have a great time, enjoy it.
Thanks,
this is going to be fun.
It is fun, and I'm just so proud to represent Middle Tennessee in that platform. I mean, this is a great place, and just to be part of that and thank everybody for their cooperation. And I couldn't do this unless I had a great staff back at home because I'm going to miss every Monday and Tuesday for a month. And
they're going to miss you at your Monday staff meetings.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of tears about that one.
Absolutely.
Right? Some of them over here like nodding their heads like, thank goodness he's going.
All right, Chris Massaro, Director of Athletics at Middle Tennessee, talking about the college football playoff and his role on the selection committee. We'll take a timeout. Coach Mason rejoins me after this on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
Plan ahead and plan for success. Put Lee Company on your team for all your facility and home maintenance needs. They are proud to be an official partner of the MTSU Blue Raiders and have serviced homes and businesses for 80 years. For the very best heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical services, call Lee Company at 615-867-1000. Visit them at leecompany.com or call 615-867-1000.
MTSU's College of Education prepares teachers, leaders, counselors, and librarians to be difference makers in schools and communities. Faculty and staff are committed to helping students be the best professionals they can be so they can engage in the very important work of supporting children, families, and adults in Tennessee and beyond. Offering an array of bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs, MTSU's College of Education has a program that's right for you as you strive to become a difference maker in your community.
Roscoe Brown's proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company. For over 85 years, Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown. RoscoeBrown.com.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance are the leading experts in sports medicine and performance, and the team physicians for NFL, college, and high school athletes across Tennessee. TOA offers same-day appointments, walk-ins, and urgent care for acute orthopedic injuries that can't wait. TOA is proud to be the team doctor for Blue Raider Athletics. Having a specialized care team you trust can make all the difference in your athletic journey. To find a TOA location near you, visit TOA.com.
The MTSU Alumni Association is proud of its more than 155,000 living alumni who are leading, teaching, entertaining, researching, flying, farming, nursing, and more worldwide. Every Blue Raider accomplishment adds value to your degree. Are you connected to the MTSU National Alumni Association? Visit mtalumni.com to share what you're doing, update your information, and see how you can be involved and informed. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm on Deadman's Bend at midnight when my gas light pops on. I see a gas station ahead. Just my luck. Or is it? I walk in. The attendant lifts a bony finger towards me and croaks, "You want a Halloween jumbo bucks?" I whisper it terrified, "No." And as I leave, he asks the lady behind me. She says, "Okay." And then...
She won $75,000!
Scare up some cash with the Halloween Jumbo Bucks instant game. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing, hair-raising fun. Please play responsibly.
93.3 FM. Totally hits. Totally Nashville.
Clear.
Welcome back into the Boulevard on this Monday night. We'll be back here with you next Monday prior to the Blue Raiders game against FIU. Middle at home now, 2 weeks in a row. This Wednesday night against Jacksonville State and next week from Saturday against FIU. And, Coach, a couple things I wanted to mention here. Saw coming through the restaurant, it's kind of like we see stars come by. Janet Ross, Blue Raider Hall of Famer. She was in the building here. She's helping with a dinner back with the College of Business, but she just received a big award from the College of Business. But she was on, she's on in the Blue Raider Hall of Fame for her job as a point guard on the Lady Raiders back in the mid-'80s. And her claim to fame was she was smart enough to throw the ball to Kim Webb, whose jersey is in the rafters at Murphy Center. So Kim was here, or Janet Ross was here. Do want to make mention and welcome back with us tonight Rhonda Weiser. She's here. Our friend Cy Weiser, who was with us here last Monday night,
right.
Passed away, and after fighting a very valiant fight at the end of his life. But want to welcome Rhonda and their daughter back here with us tonight. No, you always have a family here with us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Of course, Wednesday night is the 29th of October. That means we're getting close to the 31st of October.
Right.
We've got a lot of stuff going on. Emmy, what do we got going on? We've got costume contests, trick-or-treating for kids. A lot of our corporate partners are going to be there giving out candy. So a lot of giveaways like we do on every Wednesday night home game during midweek CUSA. And, Coach, earlier today when we were talking about kids coming to the game wearing their Halloween outfits, you broke some news this morning saying that your best Halloween outfit ever was when you went as Scooby-Doo one year.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to picture that in my head.
Well, I mean, it was a Scooby-Doo outfit. I was 12 years old. And
did Brian Stewart go as Shaggy?
No. It was just me and maybe my cousin. I can't remember who else was with me, but I do remember the outfit because I pitched a fit about that outfit. I wanted that outfit. My mom made me do a whole set of chores to get it, and you know I slept in it the night before, woke up, wore it all day, wore it to bed, and I think there was chocolate and everything else all over the bed when I woke up the next morning. So
you were in a sugar coma.
I was definitely in a sugar coma. That's for sure. But I do remember that the most.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, that's a good one. I had not thought about that one, but that was your best one. What's the best Halloween costume you've ever seen anybody wear that you can talk about? There's some pretty creative ones these days.
Yeah, I can't remember what school I was at.
Mike Matuzik said he went as a football player one time, so thanks for being creative, Mike.
You know, one of the craziest places I've been for Halloween was at Ohio University, and I think Chris just raised his hand because he knows exactly what that is. But I saw a group of young men dressed as the Four Musketeers, and they had swords and the hats and the sashes and everything else, and they were stumbling by Peden Stadium. And if you know anything about Halloween, they shut the town down, for Halloween. And like, to me, they truly look like the Four Musketeers.
Okay.
I don't think they had wine in their hand as they were walking down the street, but they were definitely stumbling and bumbling.
They may have found some somewhere along the way.
They found something somewhere, but that was probably the most memorable because we as coaches, we always played away. We never played home during that deal, but when we got back, we go to the top of the stadium so we can look down to see, and that's the one that I remember most because they went from the street, just right in front of the basketball arena, and they laid down.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's they just laid down.
Well, we want everybody on their feet Wednesday night
on their feet
with their Halloween uniforms on and our Halloween costumes, and invite all the kids to come out and do that. We're going to step aside a final time, get a little thumbnail about the Jack State Gamecocks coming in here. Back in 2 minutes here on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.
MTSU's College of Education prepares teachers, leaders, counselors, and librarians to be difference makers in schools and communities. Faculty and staff are committed to helping students be the best professionals they can be so they can engage in the very important work of supporting children, families, and adults in Tennessee and beyond. Offering an array of bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs, MTSU's College of Education has a program that's right for you as you strive to become a difference maker in your community.
Roscoe Brown's proud to be a longtime supporter of MTSU athletics and your locally owned HVAC and plumbing company. For over 85 years, Roscoe Brown has been the trusted name for heating, cooling, and plumbing for Middle Tennessee homeowners and businesses. Call 888-MY-ROSCOE to schedule your HVAC or plumbing service today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Roscoe Brown. People you know, a name you trust. Go Blue Raiders.
Roscoe Brown.
RoscoeBrown.com.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Hey fans, MTSU head coach Derek Mason here. Ascend Federal Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Blue Raider Athletics, and they have a checking account that will help you grow your money smarter than ever before.
A high-yield checking account from Ascend earns an annual percentage yield of 3.56%. Plus, you can show off your Blue Raider spirit with an MTSU-branded debit card. Visit ascend.org to open your account today. Some restrictions apply. Rates are subject to change at any time.
93.3 FM. Totally hits. Totally Nashville.
Welcome back into the Boulevard for a final moment. Don't forget, tomorrow night on campus, it's women's basketball against Life University of Atlanta. And then Wednesday night, of course, it is Blue Raider football against Jacksonville State. Food drive at all athletic events at home this week. Bring your canned food. It's going to help the Nourish Food Bank. And now Coach Mason is here. Final moments here. We got about a minute and a half or so. Jacksonville State features the nation's leading runner, and that is Cam Cook. He's rushed for 949 yards. That is to slow him down, get him corralled. That's part of the challenge.
That's a big challenge, for our front. Here's what we know. For us, we played well versus the run. I think this group is up for the challenge. They're going to test our edges, but we've got to do a good job of, between him and Creel, man, we've got to do a really good job of making sure that we get these guys off schedule.
Yep. Offensively, you guys have been better and continue to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And you said we're going to take it one more step, but I hear the music. We got to go.
We got to go.
So be loud, be proud, be blue Wednesday night.
Go blue.
All right. For the coach, I'm Chip Walter saying thanks for being with us. Good night from the Boulevard on the Blue Raider Network from Van Wagner.